Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Kapows Arcade Adventures. In this adventure, we're going to kindly take a different track than what you're used to with the videos that I put out. So normally I just focus on arcade reviews, arcade bars, retro arcade bars. I don't kind of focus on things like, multi-segmented repair videos or, tips and trips on how to play a game or game walkthroughs. Is just kind of not my thing. I suck at most of the games that I own and play. I would be afraid of giving out any type of repair arcade tips to anybody that may follow them and find out that I didn't know what I was talking about, and then you damage your machine because you did something that Kapow recommended. So I really have decided that the thing I was going to focus on was my love for going out, traveling and exploring and checking out these different destinations where I can get my game fix on and kind of come back and give an honest assessment to you guys in the event you want to check these places out on your own. Now, kind of one of my cardinal rules that I established a while ago is that if I go to a place that I've decided that, I want to check it out, see what they have going on, what it is that they have to offer, and I don't like it, I will not generally go ahead and film a video about it, because I'm not going to sit there and bash somebody's hard work and put it out to trash it online, because you never know what one individual operator's kind of situation is to the next. Some people have better resources, they've got deeper pockets, and if they're just starting out and trying to get their business up and running, the last thing I would want to do is, if I didn't like it, to put out a negative review versus just not saying anything at all. So when you see my videos, I tend to focus just on reviews of places that I like, that I've experienced, and feel that they really have something to offer to you guys as my viewers to go out and get the word out for them. Now, this video is different in the fact that it's really not going to focus on that. This is meant to tee up a series of videos that I shot on a recent trip out to Portland, Oregon, where my buddy Troy Gibby Gibbs and Whitney Roberts from the Broken Token Classic Arcade and Pinball podcast had an opportunity to go in order to attend this year's Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Now, this is not going to be a video like review or the overall like walkthrough of PRGE. What it is going to be is an overview of the event, and I'm really going to try to focus quickly on the scope and scale of the show, the panels and personalities that we attended and saw while we were there, the local arcade scene in and around the Portland area and some other destinations in Oregon that we were able to check out on this trip, and then the last and probably thing I enjoyed the absolute most while we were there, and that is the people and the community within the Portland area that is dedicated to the gaming culture and the preservation of classic arcade gaming and console gaming and kind of everything that goes along with it. And that was probably one of my most favorite aspects of the show, and I'll get to that, kind of as we go through this. So scope and scale of the show. First off, this was my first time going out to PRGE. Whitney Roberts that was with us, this was his second time, and it was Troy's first visit actually to Oregon at all. Up until this summer, he'd never even been to the West Coast, and in one summer, he got a chance to go out to California to attend CAX, or California Extreme, and then joined us on this trip out to PRGE. So scope and scale of the show. I've been to a lot of shows. Some relatively small, others really large in scale, and kind of everything on the in-between. And what I have kind of experienced in going to these different events is that some shows will focus on one specific area. It can either focus on the classic console gaming aspect of it, or it could focus on the retro computer scene, or maybe a combination of both. Other shows are purely dedicated to pinball. If any of you have been to Allentown for PinFest, or to the White Rose Game Room show in York, Pennsylvania, those shows are heavily focused just on pinball. I've had other shows that I've gone to where it's just focused on classic arcade games, and then maybe a little smattering of pinball that's in there. The thing that I loved about PRGE is that if you are into gaming as a culture and as a whole, the scope and scale of this show addressed everything from one end of the spectrum to the other. You had cosplayers there. You had an enormous vendor area of over 900 tables. You had tons of pinball machines, tons of vids, classic console gaming, retro computer gaming, and everything kind of across the board. So if you are looking for a show that kind of addresses the totality of the gaming culture and everything in it, and you really want to get a rounded experience, PRG is a wonderful event to attend. And in talking with some of the organizers at the show and the local collectors from the Portland Arcade Collectors Group, this show was 30% bigger than any other shows that they've previously had. In talking with some of the guys from the Coin Rejects podcast, they said that this had the largest amount of arcade games that they've had up until this point, which was roughly 270 machines on the floor, which that was fantastic. You know, we got to play and experience all kinds of stuff from some, you know, kind of unique titles you would not expect to see on the floor for the regular public to play, as well as an incredible amount of the modern Stern titles that were brought out for the public to play. They even unveiled the new Stern's Uncanny X-Men, both in the Pro and Premium models, and we got a chance to play that. And then we even got a chance to meet Jack Danger, who is the game designer, and ask questions of him. So scope and scale of the show was fantastic. As far as panels and personalities, like if you're into this culture and you really want to get an understanding of like how a game was designed or like the voice actors behind it, the panels and personalities that PRGE put together this year included panels that consisted of the voice actors that did games like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, as well as the folks that appeared as actors in the Mortal Kombat series of games. And then notable game designers like Eugene Jarvis, Nolan Bushnell, the creator of Atari, was there. From that standpoint, it was phenomenal to get to meet some of these people that, you know, I have looked up to for years as a hobbyist and collector. So that was wonderful. The local arcade scene. If you want to like combine this into like a holistic arcading, gaming kind of experience, and you decide to go out to Portland to attend PRGE, the local gaming scene and area also offers you a whole nother opportunity to kind of get your game fix on when you're not at the show. And just as an example, you know, for the time period that we were there, I think we went to 8 different arcades. I mean, we were out some nights till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning playing games. And just to give you an example of some of the places that we visited, we started it off by going to Arcade 2084 in Hillsboro, Oregon. They've been open for a couple of years. They're kind of on, you know, not the newer end of the scale, but Mars, who is the proprietor, and Shannon of Arcade 2084, you know, they're really still trying to like figure things out in that community, gain community support, and like get their stuff going. So that was a really great way to kind of start it off. We went to Quarter World in Portland. This was an awesome location, lots of pins, some really cool vids that, you know, we were able to see and play on site. We went to a place called Super Champ in Beaverton. Super Champ was kind of like a pizzeria, eatery style with an arcade in the back that was really, really cool. And then of course, Ground Control in Portland. You know, Ground Control has been around for over 30 years. We were able to get out there, you know, spend an afternoon checking it out. You know, it's a 2-level arcade, tons of games on site, really cool decor. You know, we had a wonderful time checking out Ground Control. And if you're into this hobby, it's kind of one of those Mecca-style destinations for arcade enthusiasts. We went to like a real hole-in-the-wall place that had some really good food called Wedge Heads in Portland that's dedicated to pinball machines. And then when we went out to the Oregon coast, we got a chance to go ahead and visit with my buddy Will out at North Coast Pinball, one of my favorite small kind of mom and pop locations. And then to kind of round that out, while we were on the coast, we went over to Gizmos Arcade and Eatery in Astoria, and that didn't disappoint either. Now, there were 2 places that we wanted to get to that we didn't get a chance to visit. One of those is called Special When Lit, and that's in King City Plaza. And the other was Galactix Arcade and Taphouse in Astoria. And unfortunately, their hours just didn't line up while Troy and I were out there visiting. And to round all of that out, the final destination that I took the guys to, and I had been there before, and I really wanted to save it for the end, was Next Level Pinball Museum in Hillsboro. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know I did a video last year on it. This year, a year later, Next Level has done a 7,000 square foot expansion, adding a ton more pins and vids, and it was really something to be held and seen. Matter of fact, the guys that were with me on this trip liked it so much, we wound up going back to Next Level 2 additional times while we were there. So local arcade scene, if you pair it with this trip out to attend PRGE, offers a whole nother element of going to Portland, Oregon to actually get your game fix on. And the last part I'm going to go over from an overview standpoint was the people that we got to meet and experience this trip with. Now, I mentioned the Coin Rejects podcast. I was a long-time listener, loved the show. I'd written in a few times in the past, and as a lead up to this event, going out to PRGE, I sent an email to Jordan and Brian and Ian, who are the 3 hosts of the show, letting them know we were going to be in the area. And true to their word, Jordan invited us into his house to check out the Barthcade, where he holds an annual party for arcade enthusiasts that are out there attending PRGE. And when we all got together, it was like we were just all old friends. And while we were at Jordan's place, hanging with the guys from the Coin Rejects, we were able to meet others from the local scene, such as Geach, Rich, and some others, that we have followed for a long time. And it was just like old friends getting together to play games and enjoy what it is that the gaming community kind of brings together. And for the remainder of PRGE, we all attended panels together, hung out, and just had a wonderful, great time. So my recommendation, if you're into this as a hobby and you're looking to get your game fix on, look out for next year's PRGE. Figure out a way to get out there. If you can only attend for the weekend event, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's fine. But if you can take some extra time and you're really into like getting your game fix on, between the folks that are out there that you can look up and connect through online communities like Club or the different Facebook groups, or the Portland Arcade Collectors group, as well as all of these local destinations that you can go and check out. Plus, if you're into food and drink, the breweries that they have out there are a fantastic thing that you can add on to all this other stuff. So not just get your game fix on, but get your drink on as well while you're there. So this is meant to kind of tee up a couple of videos that I shot that are going to be forthcoming after I release this one. And that's going to be videos that we did on Quarter World in Portland, Ground Control in Portland, obviously, and then Gizmos Arcade and Eatery in Astoria. So I would have loved to have taped all of the stuff that we sat out there and kind of experienced. There just wasn't time, and honestly, I really just wanted to get my game fix on and enjoy my time with my friends. So please stay tuned for those up and coming videos, and if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that like and subscribe button and go ahead and get your game fix on.